You know what your most important productivity tool is? It's probably not your fancy computer or your super fast internet. Nope. It's the desk that everything sits on. Today, we're going to dig into the science of your workspace and how it literally shapes your focus, your health, and even how creative you are.
So I want you to do something for me. Go on, take a look at your desk, like right now. What do you see? Is it a super clean, empty surface, or is it more of a, let's call it, a creative jungle? Because believe it or not, that setup tells a story. Not just about your personality, but about how your brain is actually wired to get work done.
And you know what? That story, it usually falls into one of a few classic types. So let's explore them, and you can see which one sounds a little, or a lot, like you. First up, you've got the minimalist. You know the type. The desk is so clean, you could probably eat off it. For these folks, it is all about order. Because see, less stuff means less visual noise, which means your brain has less to worry about. It's basically a strategy for building a fortress of focus.
And then, you've got the total opposite, the organized chaos. Now, you might look at this desk and just see a mess, right? But I bet the person who sits there knows exactly where that report from last April is. And get this, some research actually shows that a little bit of mess can fire up your creativity just by having different ideas, literally, bumping into each other on your desk.
All right, some desks, they're not really about workflow at all. They're about heart. You know, the ones with pictures of the family, that little souvenir from a vacation, maybe some artwork from the kids. It's all about making an emotional connection. It turns your workspace into a little slice of home, which can make those really tough days just a bit easier to get through.
Oh, and we can't forget the tech enthusiast. This desk looks like a mission control command center, doesn't it? Dual monitors, all the latest ergonomic gadgets. It's all built for maximum efficiency. And hey, it actually works. Studies show that a second monitor can make you way more productive. The only problem? That terrifying jungle of cables hiding underneath.
And last but not least, we have the cozy corner. Think soft lighting, a nice plant, a super comfy chair. This person isn't just working, they're creating a work sanctuary to keep stress at bay. I mean, the only danger here is that it gets a little too cozy and you find yourself nodding off during that 2-hour Zoom meeting. We've all been there.
Okay, so we've met the characters, we've seen the different styles. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter? Well, the answer gets into the really cool science of how our brains interact with the space we're in.
It all comes down to this one key idea, visual noise. What is that? Well, think of it like static on a radio, but for your eyes. Every single thing in your vision that isn't what you're working on, the stack of papers, the tangled cords, that old coffee cup, your brain has to constantly work to filter it all out. And that work, it uses up precious mental energy.
And that filtering? It's not free. It has a real cost. As Eureka Ergonomics puts it, all that clutter creates what they call a static load on your prefrontal cortex. Now, that's the part of your brain that handles all the important stuff, like focus and decision-making. So to put it simply, a messy desk literally makes your brain tired before you even start your actual work. Crazy, right? All right, so this brings us to one of the biggest showdowns in the modern office world, the great sit/stand debate. We're talking sitting versus standing. Is one really the champion? Let's look at what the science actually says. When you put them head-to-head, the differences are pretty dramatic. Standing, on one hand, seems to give you more mental clarity and an energy boost. Sitting, though, is often better when you need to do super detailed, precise work. But here's the kicker. The real worry is the long-term game. Sitting for too long is a major health risk, tied to pretty much every bad thing you don't want.
And check out the productivity numbers. I mean, they are wild. Some studies have found a productivity boost of up to, get this, 45% for people who used a standing desk for just 6 months. That's huge.
And it's not just about getting more done. This stuff translates into real-world, bottom-line benefits. People who use standing desks generally take fewer sick days, and they even have lower healthcare costs. It's a win-win.
Plus, you get a nice little metabolic kick. Just by standing instead of sitting for part of the day, you burn about 144 extra calories. Now, that's not going to get you ready for a marathon, but hey, over a whole year, that really starts to add up.
But hold on. This doesn't mean you should just throw out your chair and stand for 8 hours straight. That's not the answer either. The real secret here is finding the right balance.
So, is standing all day the solution? Absolutely not. Standing for too long comes with its own set of problems, like sore feet and achy joints. The real key here isn't about standing, it's about moving. And there's actually a great simple rule for this, recommended by experts at Cornell University. They call it the 20-8-2 rhythm.
Here's how it works. You sit for 20 minutes, then you stand for 8 minutes, and then you get up and move around or stretch for 2 minutes. You just repeat that cycle. It keeps your body from getting locked into one position.
And even the kind of desk you have can help you with this. Take an L-shaped desk, for example. They are fantastic for creating different zones. Maybe one side is for your computer and the other side is for reading or paperwork. Just having that physical separation naturally encourages you to move and change your posture as you switch between tasks.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the science. Now for the most important part. How do you actually put this stuff into practice? Let's build a really simple, actionable checklist for creating your best workspace.
All right, here it is. Your action plan. Some of these are super simple but have a huge impact, like getting as much natural light as possible or just adding a plant. Seriously, it can really boost your mood. Of course, the ergonomic stuff is a must. Get a good chair, make sure your monitor is at eye level, but if you only do one thing from this list, make it this one. Set a timer and just move. Change your posture every 30 minutes. That, right there, is the secret sauce.
So here's the thing. I want you to start thinking of your workspace as your most important colleague. For real. It's either your #1 teammate helping you crush it every day, or it's that one coworker who's holding you back. So, take one last look at your desk. How's that colleague doing? Maybe it's time for a little performance review.